Welcome everybody to JonesTv. This is Jay Jones, and today on Rebranded, we'll be going over St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Today, February 14th, is the 20th anniversary of this In Your House pay-per-view that happened back in 1999, with the main event being Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Mr. McMahon in the steel cage. It was the debut of the Big Show and everything else. But no further ado, let's go ahead with the rebrand. For the logo, I got inspiration from the original St. Valentine's Day Massacre back in 1999, and I also got inspiration from 80s horror logos, font that I used back then, such as Evil Dead 2. I used that for the St. Valentine's Day, and for the Massacre, I did like an updated version. As you can see, I still kept the aesthetic of having the SSB reversed on each other, so it was like a heart inside of it, if you ain't noticed it. But that's how I went about with the logo. I kind of kept it simple, just like the original logo back in 1999 was kind of simple. So as for the poster, I kind of kept that simple as well. I wanted to be the main focus to be Bayley versus Sasha Banks, because they never pulled the trigger on that feud for whatever reason, even though they have one of the best women matches that you'll ever see from NXT Brooklyn 1. But any ado, I decided I had the torn pages of them being somewhat happy, but in the background, I try to find the most evil picture of Bayley you can find. It's hard because she's smiling all the time, but she's smiling a little bit more sinister in this one, so I used that for the poster. For the arena, I didn't do anything too crazy because it's an In Your House pay-per-view. They never did anything that insane with them outside of like the original In Your House being at your house. Just had the aesthetic of St. Valentine's Day Massacre with the logo. The only thing I probably did crazy was the entrance, where I used the, I believe it's Bad Blood, the blood that comes off of that for the Titantron, and then for the, I forgot the other part of the Tron is called, but the other side is off to the side. I think that's a little bit different, but everything else is pretty much like a basic pay-per-view would look like today. They actually did try to put some effort into their pay-per-view shows. And for the match card, I try to keep it somewhat, how can I explain this? I try to have it be like old 1920 style, with the flickering of the textures and the picture being like wobbly a little bit on the inside, because it used to be that back in the day. Since the real St. Valentine's Day Massacre happened back then, it's a terrible thing that happened. But I try to have that aesthetic, try to also make it modern with the way it looks. And that pretty much keeps it, like I said, I didn't try to do anything too crazy. The most craziest part I did was the match card, because I enjoy doing match cards. But like you see, he had the blood going down Bayley's face. He had the same thing going for Sasha Banks. And then you also have it when they come together through the full match card. It's for the women's title. The main event that I do have playing after this is going to be a steel cage match, just like the original St. Valentine's Day Massacre back in the day. And that's pretty much it for Rebrand. Thank you everybody for joining me. If you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, on Instagram. That's all going to be in the bottom of the description. It might be in the video somewhere too, I'm not sure. But if you have any suggestions of rebrands of pay-per-view shows, of regular shows, it could be Velocity, it could be whatever, just let me know. And until then, I will see you guys next time.
The following contest is a steel cage match and is for the Raw Women's Championship.
It's Bayley!
Yeah, hug life.
Sit down, Byron, don't touch me.
You guys ready for the best part? It's a wacky, waving, inflatable arm flailing Bayley buddies on Raw.
And here's Bayley. So much accomplished in her young career, and now here on Monday Night Raw, a former women's champion.
It's just an infectious feeling when Bayley comes to town. When Bayley competes, everybody's feeling hug life, except Corey.
I think she just winked at you, Byron.
I think so too. Hey, Bayley.
It's boss time! And here comes Sasha. Stephanie McMahon brought Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks to WWE, and those three women changed the course of history as we know it today.
Yeah, Sasha Banks has been a trailblazer. She has been at the forefront of that change. In fact, Sasha's career-long motto, be so good, they can't ignore you.
You should get one of those rings that say Graves on it like Sasha has. I'll pass.
Introducing the challenger from San Jose, California, Bayley. Introducing the champion from Boston, Massachusetts, the Raw Women's Champion, Sasha Banks.
Stay tuned. Corey, you've had a lot to say about Bayley and Sasha Banks over the years. Your perspective on their relationship is different than most.
Listen, Cole, this Bayley and Sasha friendship has been bound to end through a barbershop window. Their so-called friendship is as disastrous as a butterfly tattoo on a man's lower back. If you love being kept down like Bayley, be buddies with Sasha Banks.
Oh, clothesline!
Targeting the chest, very effective.
Nailed it. What a strike.
Beautiful technique. Oh, nasty impact.
Setting up for it. The best way to describe combatants clashing inside a steel cage is its battle of attrition. Sometimes a superstar is left with no choice but to fight fire with fire and do whatever they need to do in order to win the match. And sometimes it comes down to a superstar doing whatever they need to do in order to survive.
Boom! You gotta believe this one's over. Ooh, this might be it.
Oh my,
Nailed it. Byron, you touched on this earlier, but it's so important for a superstar to accept that there's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide in a steel cage match. That the conflict will be resolved within the 15-foot-high steel walls that surround the ring. And that losing a cage match can mean much more than a mark in the loss column. For some, it has meant the end of their career.
It's difficult to describe the damage that can be done to a superstar who competes in a steel cage match. We see the physical harm, but we don't see the psychological effects from being inside the cage. Make no mistake about it, Michael. The steel cage truly represents survival of the fittest.
The WWE Universe has seen the evolution of the steel cage in the enclosure known today as Hell in a Cell. The first time an enclosed cage was seen was in October of 1983 in the last Battle of Atlanta. The enclosed cage was seen a few years later in the War Games match from the NWA. There were even cages stacked on top of each other, like WCW's Tower of Doom.
Oh my goodness, this hurts. Oh! Byron, we talk about the progression of steel cage matches and the type of structures that have been spawned from them. I need to point out that some cages have been electrified. One was made from bamboo in the form of a Punjabi prison match. And of course, she goes for the cover. Oh, continuing to punish them.
And a kick out. Not even close on that one.
Too soon. Ooh, what impact. Oh, man, right to the arm.
Hyperextend your elbow.
Oh, to the back of the neck. Oh, what a snapmare.
Oh, perfectly executed. I spoke to Sasha Banks after she participated in Abu Dhabi's first ever women's match, and she was overwhelmed with emotion. But what touched her the most were the crowd's chants of, "This is hope."
Harsh impact. Beautiful technique. Boom, what impact. Reflecting on your conversation with Sasha Banks, Byron, Sasha feels she has a responsibility to empower women all over the globe to find the boss in themselves.
Yeah, you know what? I'll hand it to Sasha Banks. She finally humbled herself enough to allow one night not to be all about her.
Oof. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Gosh, why? The challenger not in a great place. The pressure of this championship match might just be too much for the challenger.
She's not looking so good here, guys. She's going to need to find a way to fend off some of this offense, and quickly.
She comes up big with a reversal. What a stomp. Good grief. Takes her down.
Wow, nice move right there.
Lariat. Oh, and she gets floored by that one.
Yeah, there's no staying on your feet after something like that.
The rivalry between Ultimate Warrior and Ravishing Rick Rude began during the Super Pose Down at the 1989 Royal Rumble. Then it progressed to where both superstars battled over the Intercontinental Championship. At SummerSlam 90, the rivals met inside a 15-foot-high steel cage for the WWE Championship. Victory could be achieved by pinfall or escape from the cage.
Harsh impact. This might be it. Oh, my. Ooh, what impact.
These superstars look determined to destroy each other here tonight, which is what you would expect, I guess, when the gold is on the line.
Corey, the WWE Championship match between the Ultimate Warrior and Ravishing Rick Rude was the second half of the double main event at 1990 SummerSlam. The rivalry between the Warrior and the Ravishing One was so heated that no one knew what to expect once the two men were able to battle inside a steel cage, which at the time was the most grueling match in all of WWE.
The Ultimate Warrior dominated early on with his incredible strength. Rick Rude turned the tables and used the steel surroundings to his advantage. At one point, Rude dove from the top of the cage onto the Warrior. But after the Warrior's signature Gorilla Press Slam, the Ultimate One climbed over the cage and retained his WWE Championship.
Oh, ooh, boom, what impact.
Oh, nasty impact. Nailed it.
This is unbelievable. The championship changes hands.
I can't believe what we just witnessed. Steel cage matches never fail to surprise and amaze.
She left it all in the ring, and I expected nothing less.
Here is your winner, and the new Raw Women's Champion, Bayley.
And that's a win for Bayley. Just a pitiful performance by Sasha Banks tonight. You can't fight like that and expect to win. Come on, Corey, it wasn't that bad.
Boy, I don't think we're going to have too many disappointed